I'm making a video about LG and their customer service. May of 2024, I purchased an LG G3 77-inch. The first 6 or 7 months it worked fine, and then it developed a green tint. At first it wasn't too bad, and then it got worse. LG, like other TV manufacturers, they love to diagnose their problems over the phone, or the problems the customer's having. So they sent somebody out and they put a main assembly board in there. Main assembly board, I thought fixed the problem, but it didn't. And the problem came back and it was worse. So they sent the same technician back out. He took pictures. He sent the pictures to somebody at LG while he was there. And after a few minutes on the phone, they came to the conclusion that the panel was bad. And he told me he was going to order a panel, and it would be probably a couple weeks. So he contacts me and tells me the panel's here, and when could we do the job? And we agreed on a date. But I was curious. I asked him, because I looked up the price of the panel. Now, if me or you were to buy it, the panel was close to $4,300. I paid $3,800 for the TV. So it kind of had me confused. You already did one repair. That's parts and labor. Now you're going to replace the most expensive part. And I asked him, I said, why are they replacing the panel? Why not just replace the TV? He said, that's the way LG operates. Sony, he said, doesn't replace the panels. Now, whether that's true or not, somebody can jump in here that's owned a Sony and tell me different. But they come out and put a panel in. For a couple months, it worked okay. Then what had started happening was the TV would just power down. And it might be 20 or 30 minutes before you could get the TV to come back on. And when it did come back on, it was like it rebooted to a default mode, like the TV was brand new. You're taking it out of the box to set it up for the first time. So you had to go through all of that, set it up. But what I noticed was there were 0 hours on it. So it took it all the way back to like a new TV. So that happened. I figured maybe it was just a glitch. Then it happened again. So I called LG, and it was a little bit before somebody got back with me after a couple calls. Somebody from their presidential liaison department called and asked what was going on. And I told them what was going on. And in the meantime, LG had contacted me and wanted to replace the board again, but I'd have to pay for the labor. So when I was talking to the presidential liaison and told her what was going on, I said, I'm not paying for anything. I said, I'm not paying for the labor. So I had to give her a picture of the tag on the back, and she got back with me and told me that they were going to take care of the parts and labor. So they come out, put a main assembly board in. About 9 or 10 days later, it did it again. So this was late September or the beginning of October, somewhere in there. And I call LG up, and here's where the fun begins, because it was somebody's going to get back to you. And somebody's going to call you within 24 to 48 hours. Or somebody's going to text you. And all this went on for about 3 or 4 weeks. Finally, the person from the presidential liaison contacted me, the same person. I told her what was going on and said she would get back with me. Nobody did. So called again, and they escalated to a higher department. And then all of a sudden, the receipt that I have to send every time they're going to come out and do a repair, I don't know why they just don't have that on record. That receipt was no longer any good. So I had to call Electronic Express, where I bought it from, and get them to send me it's a receipt was different, but it still showed that when it was bought and everything. So after that, still nothing from them. So I said, I'm about tired of this. So I wrote to the Better Business Bureau. A couple days later, the Better Business Bureau emails me, and it's a response from LG, the same lady that works in the presidential liaison. She said that, be patient, we're working on this. I have to talk to the department that handles returns and refunds. And okay, so I have an opportunity to reject or accept. So I rejected it because this has been going on since September or October of 2024. And I told them, because after doing research, I found out that the late G2s, later in the year produced G2s, and early to mid G3 models had an issue that was exactly like mine. Powering down, taking a while to power back up, throwing off excessive heat, rebooting as if you had just bought the TV, no hours, nothing on it, you have to reset everything up. And they said it wasn't a widely spread or publicized problem, but yet nonetheless it was. And the problem was the metal border that goes around the TV, which is bonded to the G series and cannot be taken apart and repaired, was tending to ground out the panel. Now, this panel comes with ribbon cables and the T-Con board made onto it. They cannot be replaced. So imagine if one of the ribbon cables, which are fragile, was grounding out on that metal frame. What it does is it puts the TV into a safe mode, so it doesn't do any other damage. But that particular problem, which had happened, is deemed unrepairable. So when I rejected it, the response I got from LG, I plainly stated in there what was going on. This is what I found. So I call, give us 4 to 8 business days, nothing happened. Somebody's going to call you, and it was always 24 to 48 hours. So I get another response from LG and the Better Business Bureau, and said that they were going to re-escalate my case. Well, I'm thinking to myself, why did you de-escalate it? Because you haven't fixed anything. So I rejected that also. And I wrote why I rejected it. Like, okay, come on, you guys are just stalling. And when you look up on Google, why is LG's customer service so bad? It's lack of communication, language barrier, constantly repairing a unit, no matter what it is, and with the same outcome, stall tactics. It fit perfectly what I was going through. So, and also the presidential liaison told me when they came out to put the second main assembly board that I had to give LG 3 opportunities to fix the TV. And that's what I did. I've given them, actually, they've been out there 5 times. 3 times to work on it, 1 time to determine that the panel needed to be replaced, and 1 time because it was throwing off excessive heat, like plasma TV heat, after they put the panel in. So imagine 5 people, 5 trips out there, 2 main boards, and a new panel. This has got to be more than what the TV cost. Now, of course, they don't pay what we would pay, but still, it's kind of stupid that you keep throwing good money away to bad. It just doesn't make any sense. You could have just replaced the TV. Now I've gotten to the point where I do not want anything from LG except for a refund. And I think I'm entitled to that because I've had a TV that's never been right to begin with. They diagnose the problems over the telephone, which is stupid. I'm a mechanic. People try and get me to diagnose their car over the phone. I can't do it. I tell them they have to bring it to me. So the poor handling, the non-contact when they were supposed to call me, and then last night, the same lady calls me. Now get this. She says, I heard that you wanted to talk to somebody in our department. Can you tell me the reason why? Well, wait a minute. You said in the response in the Better Business Bureau that you were going to call me. I would figure you would have all the notes in front of you. What's going on? I had to explain everything over to her. Once again, take a picture of the back of the TV and send them the tag. It's like they were, I don't know. It's like they took the information and just pitched it to the side. I don't know. It was ridiculous. So, of course, she tells me, give me until Monday and we should have an answer. And I told her, I said, I didn't want to go through all this. I said, but I've now reported you to the Better Business Bureau, Consumer Affairs, and the Attorney General's office. I said, that's not how I wanted to do this. And I said, I want to make something plain to you. I do not want another one of your products. Not after dealing through all this mess. Just refund my money. So, beware if you're going out and buying one of their products. Now, their G Series is their top-of-the-line TV. It's the most expensive. It's not a $500 TV. If it was, I'd have threw it in the trash. It cost me $38. When they first come out, they're $4,500 or more. So, and to treat you like this is inexcusable. So before you go out there and jump on any of their products, beware. This is the kind of treatment you're going to get from customer service. So if I have anything else, any news or anything, I will update. But I think, and I would hope people would agree, that I've given them more than ample time to repair this or to come to some conclusion, and they haven't. So, thanks for watching the video. Take care.